have never seen a poker game as action-packed as this. Starting with a $20,000 buy-in, everyone here is ready to gamble and be all in. We play $30,000, $40,000, and even a $60,000 pot. Let's see where the dust settles at the end of the night. Let's get the cards in the air. We are playing 10, 20, 40 with a $20,000 buy-in, and we've got Texas Mike in the house going for the 100% VPIP. It's going to be lots of money flying around on the table, and we're going to get started right off the bat here with the $100 straddle on. The low jack limps in for 100. Texas Mike on the button raises to 500, and I have ace 7 suited and decide to 3-bet to 2,000. Like I said, noticing Mike is playing a little bit extra active, as one would say. Anyways, so I decided to 3-bet here to 2K, and Mike makes the call, of course, so going out of position to a flop of 10-3 deuce rainbow. I decided to check it here with just ace high and some backdoor possibilities, and now Mike fires out 1,500. On a board like this here, I think ace high can be good. Sometimes he has just a lot of hands that don't connect with the 10. So I make the call for 1,500, being a non-believer since Mike is playing a lot of hands today. Turn comes the 8 of spades, brings in an amazing card to see, of course. I turn the flush draw, and I once again check. Next, he decides to go all in for $16,000. What? Oh my God, you can see immediately I am agonized. Quite a miserable spot, to be honest. And I've seen Mike's work and play style. He's super aggressive and very capable of having bluffs here. And right now I'm just trying to figure out what hands he even has that can bet for value. Because all I'm thinking about right now is thinking that he has a bluff and truly just taking my time to figure out this 2 or 3x pot overbets. There's plenty of hands I can bluff here. Combo draws, spades, stuff like that want to get folds. But what is he really trying to bet for value here for such a large bet? A set doesn't make much sense. Maybe top pair, but that seems really ambitious since I can have over pairs and stuff like that. Anyways, I just don't believe it that he has a good hand. And I also have spades to improve to win as well. So after a very long tank to start the stream, I end up on a call. You can see this is not the right decision. So 30 minutes in, I play a $40,000 pot with the worst of it. Come on, dealer, please bank the river. I need a spade. River is the 4 of diamonds. Okay, immediately gets stacked by Mike's jack 10 of spades. He scoops a big one, a very large pot to start off, and rightfully earned given his reputation. So well played by Mike, kudos to him. But before the next hand, there's a $5 million free roll tournament in Las Vegas that you can participate in.
Guys, there's going to be a $5 million invitational poker tournament happening this December in Las Vegas during the WPT World Championships. This is single-handedly the largest guaranteed tournament of poker history where no one has to buy into. It's a complete free roll. So how it works is going to be 2,000 entrants total, and for a $5 million prize pool, then each seat is valued at $2,500.
Right now, I'm giving away 5 seats every single week to someone who signs up with the link in the description below.
We are celebrating the launch of a brand new poker site coming to America, finally a new product called Club WPT Gold. So anyone who is a US citizen or living in Canada can sign up and pre-register for this site. So to sweeten the deal, along with that, I'm actually giving away a Rolex to one lucky person who pre-registers their account onto the brand new site. This is valued at $12,000 and it's called the Wimbledon, and I kind of really like the look of it. Anyways, I'm giving away all this just for people who are signing up with their emails. Imagine how much I'm giving away when the site is finally launched. So I'm excited for this, and I can't wait to see you guys in Vegas.
Second hand of the night, I've got pocket kings in early position. I limp into the $80 straddle. Here from early position, think it's pretty fine to limp a lot and see what develops on an action-packed table. Cutoff makes the call, the button raises to 240, and Mike 3-bets to 1,010. Music to my ears. This is the trap I wanted to spring on. I decided to 4-bet to 5,000, making it quite large because you never know what Texas Mike is capable of doing. Action folds back to Mike, who goes all in, covering my stack. I snap call, of course, and maybe, just maybe, we can get all the money we punted off to Mike back. I got pocket kings versus his ace 10. hoping to get a rebate and getting in very good. Flop is safe for now, at least. 7-6-3. Turn is an 8. Of course, it gives an additional sweat. Now, an ace or 9 gives Mike the win. And if I lose this pot here, oh boy, it's going to be a painful night. River 5. Phew, okay. Kind of get my money back from the last hand. I'm pretty much back to break even. And I don't need to tilt harder, luckily, because I swear to you, this was going to get outrageous if I lost this hand. Because I really didn't want to be down 40K to start off this session, and I would have been seeing red if I lost this one. So about an hour into the stream here, it's been a pretty rough start. I've only seen 25 hands and only won 1. Nothing compared to Texas Mike's, who's won 10 hands out of the 25 hands dealt with a 100% VPIP going on. So I'm going to try to replicate him and his numbers as the night progresses. About an hour after that hand, with King 9 of spades in the hijack, raise it up to $200, and we get 3 players to call around. Of course, Mike is in the mix here with his 100% VPIP, and the flop is King Jack 5 rainbow. Here, action checks around. I flop a medium strength top pair, but didn't want to bet this time here. Turn is the 3 of hearts, bringing in a flush draw now, and action checks to be again. And at this point, certainly thinking that my hand is best, so I decided to go for a very large bet of $1,200, over betting the size of the pots. And this is when things get a little dicey as action folds back to Mike, and he check raises me to 3,500. Especially after my overbet, it seems extremely strong, but like I said, how can I ever fold to this man? It's not happening with top pair, that's for damn sure. I make the call once again, and the river is the 9 of hearts, so it's good, all things considered, with 2 pair, but maybe a little bit bad since it completes the straight and flush draw. Now, Mike takes the initiative to be all in for about $11,000. I mean, another duel here versus Mike, and this time, once again, I don't think I'm going to be folding. 2 pair is pretty hard to fold, and definitely not against my opponent, so I don't take too long of a time before making the call, and I'm told some good news. Pot is going to be shipped my way. After starting off down at $20,000 in the session, I'm back up a modest amount with plenty of big pots to come. In the following hand, Mike starts off the action, raising the button to $200. Kelly makes the call, and I'm happy to see a flop with Queen 8 offsuit. Why? I don't know. It's just fun to flick in chips and see a pot, right? Anyways, Antonius calls as well, so 4 ways to a flop of Jack 10 4 rainbow. Here, multi-way, I actually decided to take a stab at this pot against 3 other opponents who may or may not have hit this board. I decided to fire out $200, small little bets, try to get some folds, and Kelly is the only person to make the call. When the turn comes the 10 of diamonds, the board is paired, flush draw, it appears now as well. Now Kelly decides to check, and here I'm trying to bluff her off of, with just queen high in a dream. What am I trying to bluff her off of? Really ace high, king high, maybe even the diamond draw? I'm not sure, but I overbet to 1,300, and you can see at her hand, I don't think this is going to work. And if only I knew this in real time, I'm definitely going to need some help as she comes along for a call. And the river is the bink 9 of diamond. Wow, that is the help I was certainly looking for. But I do think I have to be a little cautious as the flush gets in. She checks one more time, and I decided to throw out $2,200, almost 2/3 the size of the pot. A little bit of bad math here. So instead of bluffing, I finally have it, and she calls rather quickly. Don't blame her, with trips, and I got lucky showing the straight, so I'm going to bink the river and beat trips. So I'm happy to win this one. Got very, very lucky here, and a few moments later, strap into your seatbelt, everyone. We've got a big one brewing. Mike raises it up to $200. Kelly calls, and with ace 10 offsuit, I'm in position of everyone. I 3-bet to $900 here. And this $900 is not going to scare a single person. Mike and Kelly continue, and we're off to a flop of ace 8 6 2 hearts. Action checks to me here, and I decided to actually check this one back. Lord only knows what Mike can have playing every single hand, and with top pair and a pretty above average kicker, I would say, I'm just going to see what the turn brings. And it's the Jack of clubs, bringing in 2 flush draws now. Mike starts off with a check. Kelly bets 2,500, near a pot-sized bet. And definitely don't think I have a decision with facing a pot-sized bet here. I'm just going to make the call. Maybe in hindsight could advocate on a raise, but with my call, I don't think my hand is strong enough. And now Mike decides to do what Texas Mike does, and he goes all in. Oh my goodness. Kelly has an easy decision and fold. Now I'm stuck wondering, how the hell did it all go wrong? And how did I get in this decision? It's pretty gross, honestly. It's a very big all-in compared to the size of the pot, and there's a lot of draws and a lot of hands that can beat mine. I'm really torn. There's a lot of hands that beat me, and there's a lot of hands that I'm ahead of right now. And I'm put in quite the blender here. I'm confused and torn about calling and folding, really. And it feels like if I make the wrong decision in this spot, I'm going to look like an idiot either way. Like, if I am ahead here, how do I fold with ace-10? And if I'm actually behind here, how do I even call with ace-10 too? I can see arguments for both, and I'm really curious for everyone watching this video here. Just pause it and pretend like you don't know what Texas Mike's hand is right now. What are you going to do if you're in my spot without any information, any knowledge? It's pretty tough, but after a few minutes of an agonizing decision, I feel like I can live with calling and being wrong more. So we flick it in and see amazing news that he has ace-5, and with only 3 outs to win. And luckily, those 3 outs don't come, and a $45,000 pot gets shipped my way. What a hand. And I'm very, very glad to end up making the right decision, but it all came down to me being quite a calling station, I must say. But how things can change so quickly. Now, halfway through the stream, I'm up about $49,000, which is huge. Like, remember that time when I was stuck 20K immediately the first hand of the session? Things have bounced back, luckily, and Mike is not going to give up in the next spot with him raising to $300. Kelly makes the call on my right, and I look at King 6 of hearts from the big blind and think, well, this hand is above average compared to 100%, so let's do the raising thing and build a pot. Make it $1,800. Mike folds, but Kelly comes along for a call, which is something I actually didn't expect. But we're going to go to a flop of King 10-9 rainbow. She checks it over to me here, and with top pair, seems like a good enough spot for a bet. I fire out $1,800, and I think in hindsight, probably messed up. Probably should be betting a lot bigger than $1,800 here, but here we are. Kelly comes along for a call, and we see a turn jack. Not the card I'm looking to see. Obviously, there's a 4-liner out there, and how can I ever bet a weak king when there's 4 to a straight? So action goes check, check, and the river is a 7. Doesn't change much for me. Kelly fires out $6,500, and my top pair just cannot be good enough to continue. So I have a pretty easy decision in fold, and good thing I did. She had the nuts with a redraw to a royal, which is really cool. So nice hand to Kelly here. The following one is very, very fun. Kelly starts off the action with a raise of $300. I 3-bet with the suspect hand with King 7 of spades, $1,100. Mike comes along for the call, of course. The man's playing 100%. Kelly calls as well. So 3 ways to a flop of Queen 3, 3, 2 spades. Action checks to me, and we've got spades here, which is great. I bet $1,100, about a third of the pot, and Mike folds, and Kelly ends up check raising to $3,600. Yeah, we're never folding, of course. Come on, dealer. 1 spade, 1 time. Turn. Bink. There it is. 10 of spades immediately, giving me a very good flush, and I'm very happy with this card. Kelly fires out once again, but this time it's for a very large amount of $7,000. I'm looking at her stack with about 35,000 behind. Clearly, I'm very, very bad at guessing stack sizes. If you couldn't tell in person, the graphics say like 42, I'm pretty sure, and I'm very wrong with 35. Anyways, I feel like I wanted to raise here because I feel like when she check raises the flop, then follows it up with a very large bet, seems like she's going to have a very good hand a lot of the time, but for one reason or another, I felt scared to pull this trigger, and I decided on a call. So we got a big pot. It's still ballooning. Could have been bigger if I raised, of course, but hey, the river is now the 8 of hearts. It's a complete brick, and now Kelly decides to check, surprisingly. And I'm a little bit suspicious of how strong her hand really is. I thought trips would certainly be open to betting again on the river, and now I feel like I'm just trying to target a crying call from a queen, perhaps. So I bet $8,000, and that's followed by a snap call. Oh, this isn't a great sign, as now I must have missed value, and indeed I did. I win a large pot here, obviously with a flush, so I can't complain, but Kelly is quite relieved that she didn't lose more, and somehow her needles in-game made me feel like I lost this pot somehow, even though obviously I won it, but could have won more, of course, results-wise. So unlucky, badly played by me, but hey, at least I got the chips. The action's picking up in the very next shuffle. Mike raises up to 700, and I make the call in the straddle with 9-8 offsuit. Definitely going to play this one versus Mike. And we see a flop of 7-6 deuce, 2 clubs. Mike fires out $1,000 with 2 overcards and an open ender. of course, I'm going to make the call, and we're going to see a turn, which is the king of clubs. Once again, Mike bets again, this time of 2,500. He's sizing up a little bit here. And once again, how can I ever fold? I've got a club in my hands, along with everything else going on with me. I'm hoping to hit a river, please. I make the call once again, and the river is the deuce of spades. Wow, I couldn't have thought of a more bricky card. And now Mike decides to slow down and check. Sitting with 9 high, certainly cannot be winning without a bluff here. And so I fire out 5,500, praying for a fold, praying for one, trying to get really everything to fold, to be fair. And luckily, my opponent didn't have much with just jack high, and I'm going to win another pot. So very pleased with that. Seems like we're on a roll, a lot of momentum on my side. And here in the next situation, Mike raises up again to $600. Looking at ace jack offsuit, I'm in position, and I definitely have to raise this one as it's a premium versus Mike. Bump it up to $2,000, and action folds back around to Mike, who ships it for the entire stack. Oh my goodness. If it's anyone else at the table, of course, very clear fold, but I think my hand is good enough, and also just happy to give action to Mike here. I call pretty quickly and get to see some pretty bad news. It's a $40,000 pot, and I'm a huge underdog this time. We run it one time here, the Texas Mike Classic, and then we flop ace jack 10. Wow, smashing the jack on the flop to give me the lead after being way behind on the flop, but must say we are not out of the woods yet, as any king or queen can win the pot. The turn comes in 8s. Oh no, this is sweaty, giving Mike more outs to win with a double gutter. Now on the river, just have to fade a king, queen, and 9. River for an $40,000 pot, king. That is a tough river to see, to be honest with you. But it's hard to complain, obviously, with how today's been going today. Just, even having a really good chance of winning this pot after being so behind is pretty insane. But luckily, things have gone really well early in the day, and I'm still up. But man, what a swingy ride that was. So off to another hand that gets quite spicy. Zio raises up $200 from early position. Nick calls. Then Mike 3-bets to $1,400, and I've got king 5 of clubs. I think folding this is quite boring. We have the opportunity to put more money in the middle, and we're going to take it as I 4-bet to $5,000. Action folds all the way back to Mike, and I can't say I'd expect him to fold, and definitely he does not. He makes the call, so we're going to go to a flop with over $10,000 in the middle, and the flop is a very good-looking one in king jack 4 to hearts. He checks it over to me here, and I think top pair is obviously amazing, even with a very bad kicker. I want to get as much money in as early as possible before the board changes, so I start with a $5,000 bet. So you can see Mike has nothing, but hey, still nice to win this one, and luckily I had a very easy decision this time on the flop, winning about $5,000 this hand. One of the last hands in this action-filled game here, Mike starts it off by raising it up to $300 in the small blind, and I see 5-7 of diamonds, and decided to go for a very loose 3-bet to $1,300. You gotta fight fire with fire sometimes, and Mike makes the call. Off to a flop of 9-7-5 2 clubs. Oh my god, what an amazing flop is what I'm thinking in my head for now. Mike checks, and I fire out $2,000 here with a very disguised 2 pair. And now he check raises me to 7,000. Oh my, that is spicy. Thinking about calling, thinking about raising, and definitely happy about the situation for sure, facing a check raise from Mike when you have 2 pair. I decided to just call. We're playing plenty deep, and there's a very dynamic board, and bottom 2 pair is still quite vulnerable. Off to a return, which is the 5 of hearts. Oh my, from better to boat. Now, the weird thing here is that Mike decides to check. And for someone who's been very happy with getting it in with top pair for piles of money, it makes me think that maybe he doesn't have anything strong. Anyways, I check this one back, guys. I know you see the graphics, you see what's happening. I definitely have messed up and blundered at some point in this hand. And the river is even worse. It's another board pair 9. Man, now I went from having the nuts to almost not even thinking my hand may be good. Well, in the second part, even if my hand is good, how do I even ever get paid? So Mike checks again, ruining my hopes of getting any extra value, and I have to bet something, right? So I'm trying to decide like how much can I even bet on a board like this. I decided to put 11,000 into the middle and pray for a call. And here, putting Mike into the tank, and it looks like he actually wants to make the hero call, which is really surprising because I don't know how Mike has anything on this board after how he was played. And after quite some time, he shows everyone what he has. And oh my goodness, he has a straight. I really royally screwed up this hand, clearly. I should have been betting the turn. I could have made a lot more, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, back to Mike. He ends up making the call, which I certainly don't blame him for at all. Like, how could a straight actually ever lose? So here I am. I show him the bad news. I do win another pot, but like, man, it seems like I'm just missing these opportunities to get value over and over again. Not making the maximum, but I'm making something at least. The following hand, Mike is on the button this time, putting on the $1,000 straddle. Correct. We are playing 10, 20, 40, 1K. And so here, now, everyone is basically playing like 20 big blinds effective, and I'm back to tournament mode, I think. Looking at it, pocket fours. Yes, my favorite hand, conveniently. Here we are. Jamming seems probably inopportune, but I'm going to go gamble, 20 big blinds-ish. 20,000 real dollars, I must say. I'm all in, why not? Make my decision easy, make my life easy. And I'm all in here, and Key looks like he ends up having a very good hand and makes the call. Then Mike needs to keep his 100% VPIP going by, well, calling as well. And suddenly, bam, 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 we have a $67,000 pot. Remind you, this was supposed to be a 20-40 game. And surprisingly, I actually have the best hand for now, 3 ways all in, but it's a very clear flip on all 3 sides. I must say, winning this would be huge for the session. And we're off to a flop here. Got to win this flip. That would be amazing. And we see a flop with a 7 in it. All right. Immediately when one of my opponents hits a pair, I am not feeling very great about this one. And Texas Mike finds a way to pull out ahead. And he ends up holding here. So got to respect the gamble and can't even be upset, to be honest with you. He really deserves the pot and finds a very nice triple up for $60,000. Yes, the swings are truly real in this 20-40 game. Entering the last hand of the night, Mike puts on the $500 straddle, and I see Queen Jack offsuit in the big blind and raises up to 2,000. Folds back to Mike, and he surprisingly makes the call. Off to a flop of a King 10-8 rainbow. Flopping an open ender is very, very fun, but against an aggressive Mike, I take the cautious route and decide to check it over to him, and he fires out $3,000. Now, definitely have the opportunity to check raise if I wanted to, but thinking over the options and seeing how things are going today, I decided just to make the call and hope to hit turn 8 of diamonds. Very close to a 9, but definitely not a 9. So we're going to go check to see a free card, which is the Queen of Diamonds. The backdoor flush draw does get there, and I'm sitting with second pair, and there's certainly merit to betting this, hoping to get paid by worse. There's a 10, there's pocket pairs potentially, but I end up thinking that maybe Mike could bluff at this one. So I check it over to him, and here we go. Mike doing some special things by going all in for 2x the size of the pot. Oh, man. Another very, very unfun situation to be in. Mike putting on full pressure and doing it in such well-timed manners as well when he has the best hand and could easily get called by worse. I don't know, man. It's really tough here. It really just ends up being like a gut feeling here on whether I make the right move or not, whether I call or fold, but I don't know. The only factor that I could be thinking swaying my decision is that I don't have a diamond in my hand. So does that matter that much? I mean, like, Mike is clearly capable of jamming with less than just a flush. He's done that many, many times tonight, just being all in with top pair and getting called by worse. So I don't know if having a diamond even matters here, but end of the day, I just fold. Second pair, throw it in the muck, move on with my life. And Mike is nice enough to actually show me the good news. Man, he really almost got paid, but hey, this was an insane session. Mike really brought the heat in the action today, and I luckily was able to crawl out ahead today. Wow. What an insane game today was. It's been such a long time since one I've played in a cash game this action-packed and crazy. Secondly, insane that I actually came out winning money with profit. So before we go over the numbers, I just want to remind you, click the link in the description below if you want to sign up for Club WPT Gold and also participate in some of the giveaways that WPT is giving, is launching. So finally, a cool product for people in the US, in America and Canada. So looking forward to that, and also giving away a Rolex. So to you guys, so one lucky person. So hopefully see you guys in Vegas. So click the link down below in the description to sign up. You just have to fill out all this stuff and you're good to go. But anyways, as for the numbers, my goodness, I ended up buying in for a total, I got like 47,000 chips. That's how many Hustler chips I had and I brought with me. So I was in for 47,000 and I ended up cashing out for $107,480, which is a nice win of about 60,000. It's been a long time since I can report such a big win like this. So hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Click the link down below if you want to join in on all these giveaways that's happening in Vegas. Sign up to all the fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for all the support.